EA Sports FC26 is here. It's available on all platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, PC, and Nintendo Switch 2. And here's the thing. I have a bit of a love-hate dysfunctional relationship when it comes to, soccer, or the correct term being football. Because in many ways, it just feels like when it comes to the FC series, it's kind of iterative and not really doing anything that's too dramatic. But this year, man, they knocked it out the park. This review right here is going to be the definitive review, and I'm going to cover everything you need to know, and particularly how this functions on Nintendo Switch 2, and if you should pick it up, because I'm a football fan, and yeah, we got to talk about it. So let's talk about it. With that being said, I got to say thank you to EA for giving me a review copy of the game. They're not influencing this review. This is all my thoughts, unfiltered, unedited, and thrown at you, the viewer, the reader, the recipient of however you want to take this. You can get some, no diddy, but let's go ahead and talk about EA Sports FC 26. Hope is a slippery thing when it comes to football, yet somehow every year we fans of EA Sports games have a slight hope that this year things are going to be shaken up. This year things are going to be different, and it's something that we cling to, especially me when I boot up another entry into the EA Sports FC series. Now, with EA Sports FC 26 arriving on all platforms alongside Nintendo Switch 2, that hope feels, perhaps for the first time in a long while, genuinely warranted. The annual ritual is often revisited, and like I said in the opening, my relationship with EA's football franchise has always bordered on paradoxical. Each year, I anticipate sweeping reinvention, only to be met with what often amounts to a polished roster refresh. Yet I keep coming back because for fans of the beautiful game, these annual releases are more than data updates. They're vessels for optimism. As a lifelong West Ham supporter, I am no stranger to misplaced belief, but within EA's sandbox, silverware is always within reach. Nintendo players, however, haven't been so fortunate. Since FIFA 18, Switch owners have endured legacy editions that felt like the gaming equivalent of a reliable but limited lore league defender. Earnest, functional, and constantly outpaced. Frostbite's debut on the original Switch didn't help either. Performance issues and laughably flat crowds often overshadowed the underlying football. But with the Switch 2, EA finally has the hardware to break that cycle, and FC26 takes full advantage. It's a dramatic leap on Switch 2 with one hard ceiling, as it's easily the most substantial improvement the series has ever had on Nintendo's hardware. Everything has been upgraded. Player faces are sharper, animations flow naturally, stadiums feel alive, and the grass finally looks like something grown rather than something that's painted on. Crowds aren't paper cutouts anymore. They react, they move, and they breathe. And for the first time in years, Nintendo players aren't automatically receiving a second-tier experience. But there is one immovable limitation. When it comes to the Nintendo Switch 2 version, it's still capped at 30 frames per second. On handheld, the Switch 2's display widgetry helps disguise this constraint, but anyone who's accustomed to 60 frames per second elsewhere will definitely feel the difference instantly. It's not a deal breaker, but it is a stubborn reminder of the compromises that define previous Switch versions. Now, there are rumors of a performance patch, and those do persist, but again, we gotta hope that that does eventually happen. Now, there are two new gameplay presets that change everything, and this is across all platforms. The biggest systematic improvement in FC26 is the introduction of two gameplay presets: competitive and authentic. These modes reshape how the game feels. Competitive is fast and responsive and built for arcade-like tempo of Ultimate Team and clubs. Now, when it comes to authentic mode, it embraces realism, slowing the pace for career mode and offline play. The difference is profound. Authentic finally creates a football simulation that doesn't feel hijacked by the hyperactive physics of online modes. Meanwhile, competitive delivers the frantic thrill that Ultimate Team players expect. For the first time, the series acknowledges that one size does not fit all. And now this ultimately gives you the best gameplay that we've had in years. Regardless of the platform, FC26 offers the crispest football the series has produced in a long time. Goalkeepers behave intelligently instead of flinging themselves across the screen like startled gymnasts. Passing is predictable in the best way. Defensive AI finally steps up, sometimes even winning the ball without manual intervention, which felt borderline miraculous. This polish owes much to the expanded archetypes, new roles, and tactical customization. Even players who aren't tacticians will notice how these systems influence matches, especially in career mode. Now, let's talk about career mode. There's Alive on the pitch and Limp in the menus. Now, career mode benefits greatly from CPU tactical evolution, new player archetypes, enhanced league simulation, as well as specific to the Switch 2, touchscreen navigation. The standout addition is Live Challenges, which introduces short-term and multi-season objectives that revitalize the managerial journey. Deeper simulation allowing management influences across multiple leagues, creates unexpected storylines. In my Manchester United campaign, recurring Europa and Champions League rematches against beefed-up squads became some of the year's highlights, but the mode still leans on weak narrative scaffolding. Personality points and stiff text bubble conversations, they feel ancient. Immersion thrives on the pitch, yet collapses the moment you step into career mode's attempt at role-playing. Now we gotta talk about Ultimate Team, as it draws a clearer line between casual and competitive players this year through revamped Rivals and Champions and Challengers formats. Evolutions also receive meaningful updates, now supporting goalkeepers, repeatable evos, and cosmetic stacking. But the Season Pass is easily the mode's worst offender to date. Icons and heroes are locked behind the pass, requiring excessive grinding or, at worst, real money, to unlock even for offline career mode. Players like Park Ji-sung being monetized to this degree feels like a step backward for the franchise. Now we gotta talk about the Switch 2 exclusives and extras that bring real value. Nintendo players also gain several exclusive perks, such as Game Share, where you can share it up to 3 friends and you can play without them owning the game. There's also Game Chat for built-in voice communication, local seasons for wireless full season head-to-head modes, and full touchscreen support, which makes handheld management smoother than ever. These additions reinforce the Switch's social strengths and further close the gap with other consoles. Now, I gotta give you guys the final verdict on EA Sports FC26. It offers the strongest on-pitch experience that the series has seen in years. The split between competitive and authentic transforms the gameplay astronomically. Career mode feels more dynamic than ever, even if its narrative presentation still lags. Ultimate Team benefits from solid updates, but it ultimately suffers under increasingly aggressive monetization. And also on Nintendo Switch 2, the game finally looks and feels modern. It's just not at the 60 frames per second benchmark that many would be expecting this to have. Still, for the first time in a long while, EA Sports FC on a Nintendo console isn't a compromise. It's a credible, fully formed football experience, and once again, the season begins with hope. However, if you want a 60 frames per second or higher experience, definitely play this on other platforms such as PlayStation, Xbox, or PC. And with that being said, that's a review for EA Sports FC26. Again, thank you to EA for providing the review code. What do you guys think? Are you interested in this game, or have you been playing it already? What is your favorite team, and what is your favorite way to play? What platform do you prefer? Whatever your thoughts are, let's get the conversation going in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. If you want to pick up the game, links will be down there too. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace out, and Julio.
Commentators cursed just then. Couldn't make the ideal pass.